Good morning. America, past, present, and prediction. Our country was founded upon Christian values. We are at a war. We are at a war between light and darkness, good and bad, evil and God. It's a war. It's a war on, on ideology, on values, and there's two opposite sides, very opposite sides. I love America. I think it's a beautiful land. I think it has a foundation that is just wonderful. We were born out of persecution. And I'm going to get into that in a little bit, talking about the persecution that's happened around this earth. It's a persecution against Christians. It can be denied, but it's absolutely the truth. But we have a checks and balances. We can't have one branch that dominates another branch. The executive branch, judicial branch, legislative branch. The executive and legislative are equal. The judicial is appointed by the legislative branch. The whole process. It's a checks and balances. It's one of the most perfect systems on this planet. It's an amazing. But like I said, America was founded upon persecution. I want to take us back to the late 1800s. There was a president that was very well a Democrat, very honest. Grover Cleveland. In fact, they said his nickname was Grover the Good. That's what he was. Almost like the Republican Abraham Lincoln of being just honest. Well, he's running for president, Grover Cleveland is, and just had seemingly a spotless record. Like I said, he's a Democrat. In that, the Buffalo Evening Standard newspaper comes out with a shocking report that he had an illegitimate child. The Republicans attacked him, strong attack. Tried to smear him. His campaign manager came to him and, what do we do? He said, whatever you do, tell the truth. Tell the truth. And so it came out that yes, indeed, he did have an affair with Maria Halpin. He admitted it, but he said he didn't know if the child was his or not, but he wanted to do the right thing and still support the child, and he did. Well, because he told the truth, that year, he won the presidency. Fast forward to 1888, after he runs for re-election. It's like history repeats itself. It's weird how history will do that. He runs against Benjamin Harrison. It's an incredibly close election, very close election. But two states, it would be Indiana and New York. The votes were paid for. It was proven the votes were paid for. Still, Benjamin Harrison won. It brought about some reform. It brought about secret ballot. No longer would it be open voting. It had to be done by secret ballot. That's where that came from. One of the reasons that I believe Benjamin Harrison won that year, because his campaign manager It's where we get the term spellbound. Because that year when Benjamin Harrison was running for president, the campaign manager sent out all of these orators in all different directions of the nation and spoke with elegance and just had an incredible pull. And he coined the term, the campaign manager coined the term spellbound. That's where we get that from. That's what caused Benjamin Harris to win that year. But as history would show us, after his presidency, Grover Cleveland would come back and win a second term. Good morning. It's amazing how history repeats itself, how there's always attempts to smear the other party. And it's been that way. Thank you. It's always been that way in America. There's always been trying to muddy waters, trying to make the other ones look bad. And that's our history. Our history has been one of parallel. There has been a stream of Christianity, and then there's been a rise of economics of a different sort. And we've seen that from the get-go. We saw that Jamestown was primarily economics. We saw that Plymouth Rock was primarily Christian. Plymouth Rock is where the Pilgrims landed. And it's incredible. We just celebrated Columbus Day, or South Dakota calls it Native American Day, but the Native Americans, if it hadn't been for the Native Americans, the Pilgrims would not have existed. There was a first Thanksgiving, but there was no second Thanksgiving because of the harsh in the winter. Then there became a third one. But it was because the Native Americans. And so we owe a lot of credit to the Native Americans. And so that's a little history of the past. Coming up into, because I talk about past, present, and prediction. And I want to come into the present right now. We are seeing some good things, and we're seeing some not so good things. We're seeing that Antifa is moving out, and of America, they are moving out. And it's interesting because of this administration targeting and saying Antifa is a terrorist organization. And they do fit all that criteria. They can fit it all. And what I would like people to do, instead of just jumping on this party or this party, instead of moving in your emotions, to go to the source, find out the fruit of an organization, find out what you are connecting yourself to. I don't agree with everything that's happening, but there's a lot I do agree with. I do not like this lawlessness. I do not like this in California where they said they will not prosecute anybody that shoplifts under $1,000 and call it reparations. I do not like that. You can go ahead and if that's your store and people are just looting it, you're going to have a different opinion than if it's a store that you're not associated with, that it's somebody else. And that's the problem with America right now, that as long as it's somebody else, it's okay. But when it begins to be something that's happening personally to me, then all of a sudden it changes. I didn't like it that neighboring state, Minnesota, and I remember this clearly, said that if you got more than 8 people in your home, then you can be prosecuted for that. I didn't like that at all. And that wasn't the only state that did that. I didn't like it that during the COVID shutdown that we had one of our Democrat representatives say he is going to take pictures of people out in public and he's going to post them online and shame them online. I did not like that. That was horrible because he had to be out in public himself in order to get the pictures because he wanted control. And I don't like it that churches shut down and bars stayed open. There's a lot of things that was going on, but that the good news is that there's a crackdown upon this. There's a crackdown and saying we need law and order. We need borders. We need all of this. And it's a muddying of the waters that's going on. But we have to have a clear justice. If we don't have justice, we're going to lose this country. And I don't think people realize just how close we are to losing this country. We got this in Venezuela. You might think it's about a drug war, but it is not a drug war. It is not a drug war because this happened, I don't know, several months ago, but they had a huge terrorists from around the world met in a meeting in Venezuela. This is some pretty serious stuff. This is the Bay of Pigs during John F. Kennedy era, where Russia was setting up shop and they were going to send missiles into Cuba. And John F. Kennedy said, "No, you're not." And he activated the military. Well, the military is activated right now. There's a lot of things happening right now in the waters of the Caribbean waters. A lot of and so we've got some serious stuff going on. And like I said, a lot of these Antifa leaders have fled America. There is persecution going around this world. When you have liberals like Bill Maher, and I have a lot of respect for him. I have a lot of respect for Fetterman. A lot of respect for these ones that we could tell that, yeah, they're liberal, but they also love America. Bill Maher, he's been saying some things that, I'm in total agreement with, and I'm a conservative, and I'm not ashamed of that. I want to conserve what we originated in the beginning. And like I said, I don't follow blindly leadership. I look at actions. And I called out our president on different things. People, I'll call them out on both sides because I look at actions. What is the fruit of something? And that's what I'll talk about. I won't get into personalities. I don't follow personalities. What's the fruit? If the fruit is something I agree with, then I like it. If not, then I'll call it out. It doesn't matter if it's liberal, Democrat, or Republican. It doesn't matter. But I like what Bill Maher is saying. He's calling out the social media. He's saying, look at all the Christians that are being destroyed, killed in Nigeria. Right now, every 2 hours, a Christian dies. Out of 100, there's 197, United States recognizes 197 countries in the world. There's probably 198 countries, total countries on this earth. UN recognizes 195. But out of that 194 countries are persecuting Christians. 194 in some fashion, some horribly and some not so bad. But North Korea is the absolute worst. They are number one on the list of Our Door. It's an organization that tracks persecuted Christians. They are number one. You have a Bible, you get caught with the Bible in North Korea, you have a death sentence. Somalia, you follow Jesus, evangelize, you're going to be in big trouble, probably put to death. Libya, evangelism is death. You evangelize. In Tura, following Jesus, you go to prison. In Yemen, the Christian extremists, they eliminate. Nigeria, number 7 on the list. They have, of all the Christians that have been martyred on this planet, 70% of them have been killed in Nigeria. I've been in Nigeria. They are beautiful people. Beautiful people. They are childlike people. I love Nigerians. When we flew in there, we had to fly in the northern part, and they told us to duck down. Don't look out the window. If they saw that we were Americans, Caucasians, they would probably open fire on us. And we stayed down. Got to the southern part, and we had to be housed behind barbed wire guards. The place that we talked to Nigerians was guarded, barbed wire around. And the man that led us around, Reverend Setu, about, I don't know how many months afterwards, they murdered him. And he knew that that's his life. Pakistan, Christians are second-class citizens. The Sudan Christians are vulnerable. Iran Christians are a crime against national security. You're a Christian, you're going to be targeted. The Hamas is going around killing a lot of. And Afghanistan, the Taliban said there are no Christians. They were supposed to be. That's why we went over there and spilled our blood, American blood, for Afghanistan to be able to put Taliban back in power. It was a horrible exit. I mean, horrible exit. And we left them with so many of our weapons. Why? I don't know. I really don't know. In fact, I listened to the little bit of the debate that is coming out of New York. It's an interesting, has national implications to it, of the two candidates, Cuomo and I can't think of the other one, starts with an H, Hamel. Anyway, he is a strong anti-Jewish, and they were trying to compete with each other how many times they've gone to mosque. It's just shocking. And I know Muslims. I have friends that are Muslim, and beautiful people. And the ones that I know, that my friends, they're good people. But there's fractions of that. In the last 4 years, there was a strong attempt to make Christians, and there's still the labeling. Good morning, Raymond. There's still the and I talk about all of this because to say we are at war. There is a war between light and darkness. How are we going to win this war? We're going to win it by keeping our eyes on Jesus. We're going to keep our eyes on him, and we're not going to get into the mud. We're not going to get into any of that. We're going to keep our eyes on Jesus, and we're going to keep our eyes clear. Don't get caught up in emotions. We're going to when I start to feel myself getting caught up in emotions, because um, people that I really care about get caught up into these movements. They get caught up into getting themselves associated with groups that promote violence. Not all of them, but a lot of them promote violence. And Jesus, yes, absolutely. And we keep Jesus in our minds and our hearts. And I always have to be careful because, I see these things that are trying to destroy America, that are trying to bring down. There's strong talk today that this movement of No Kings, there's plans on violence, perversion. There's groups that have jumped on that. And you look at the fruit, and that's what I challenge everybody to do. Don't just jump on a group because you want to join with a group, because you hate somebody else. To be quite honest with you, I don't like a lot of times how our president talks. I don't like it. A lot of times I don't have my children listen. But I like the sticking up for law, sticking up for order, sticking up for it. I think, and trying to restore some things. We have to have law and order. There's methods. It's hard to know. It's hard to know. But we're at a war. We're in war. And I predict it will get worse. But those that know Jesus Christ, as it gets worse, we will be more purified. We go straight into the storm. Charlie Kirk was an incredible example of how we can fight this war. We let the other ones talk. We let them talk. We ask them questions. We try to understand why they think what they think. And in those questions that we ask can cause people to think. We do it in a loving, caring way, really. And if we do that, stay in God's light, stay in God's love, stay in His peace. Don't get all riled up, because Jesus Christ died for every single person on this earth. He died for Hitler's sin. He died for the young man that assassinated Charlie Kirk. And I pray that young man, the Word of God would come to him and he would see the love of Jesus. Because if he were to die, he'd go to heaven. That's the message of love. We do not fight this fight with earthly weapons. We get in the love of Jesus, and if we do that, we'll see a change. Yeah, I like listening to Charlie Kirk. I get his podcast, and it's nice hearing Charlie's voice at the beginning of it, and of course, other people bring in. Let's pray for America. Father, we come to you and we just ask God you protect us. So many of us as Americans don't know what we're doing. Guide us. Hey, have a great day. Be blessed in God. And let's make America godly. Let's make America godly by letting Jesus live in us. Have a great day.